What if the reason your life feels so heavy right now is not because something is wrong with you, but because you have been carrying things that were never yours to hold other people's opinions? Yesterday's mistakes, tomorrow's worries, expectations you never agreed to, and a version of yourself that you have already outgrown. What if I told you that the most powerful transformation you will ever experience will not come from a new relationship, a bigger paycheck, or a fresh start in a new city? It will come from sitting alone in a quiet room and finally deciding to meet yourself honestly for the first time in years. Most people will never do this. Most people will spend their entire lives running from silence, running from stillness, running from the uncomfortable truth that the life they are living is not the life they actually want. They fill every second with noise, with scrolling, with busy work, with other people's drama, because the moment things get quiet, the moment they are left alone with their own thoughts, something terrifying happens. They have to face themselves. But here is what the ancient Buddhist teachers understood thousands of years ago, that facing yourself is not the terrifying part. The terrifying part is spending your whole life avoiding it and waking up one day realizing you never really lived at all today. I want to share 12 principles rooted in Buddhist wisdom that have the power to completely reshape how you think, how you feel, and how you move through this world. These are not motivational quotes to put on your wall and forget about by tomorrow. These are living, breathing truths that, if you actually let them sink in, will change the way you experience every single day from this moment forward. So let us begin. The first principle is this: stop trying to control everything around you, because that is where most of your pain is actually coming from. Think about it honestly. How much of your daily stress comes from things not going the way you planned? How much of your frustration is really about other people not acting the way you expected? How much energy do you waste every single week trying to force outcomes that were never in your hands to begin with? We do this constantly. We try to control conversations before they happen. We try to control how people feel about us. We try to control the future as if we could somehow think hard enough to guarantee a specific result. And every single time life reminds us that we cannot, we fall apart. We get angry, we get anxious, we feel like failures. But the Buddha said something that should stop you in your tracks. He said, you only lose what you cling to. Read that again. You only lose what you cling to. That means the tighter you hold on to how you think things should be, the more pain you create for yourself when they turn out differently. Letting go of control does not mean you stop caring. It does not mean you become lazy or passive. It means you do your best, and then you release the outcome. It means you plant the seed, water it, and then trust the rain to come without standing over it, screaming. Grow faster. It means you stop exhausting yourself fighting against the current of life and instead learn to flow with it. And here's the beautiful part. When you stop wasting energy on what you cannot control, you suddenly have so much more energy for what you can. Your attitude, your effort, kindness, your response, your presence. That is where your real power has always been. The second principle is learn to sit with yourself without reaching for a distraction. This one is going to be uncomfortable for a lot of people because we live in a world that is designed to keep you distracted every second of every day. The moment you feel bored, you reach for your phone. The moment you feel sad, you open an app. The moment you feel anxious, you look for something, anything to take your mind off it. But what if those feelings are not problems to be fixed? What if they are messages trying to reach you? What if the sadness is trying to show you something important, and every time you swipe it away with a funny video, you miss the lesson? What if the boredom is actually your soul begging for something deeper, and you keep feeding it junk? Buddhism teaches that the answers you are looking for are not out there in the noise. They are inside you, in the silence, but you will never hear them if you never sit still long enough to listen. So try this tomorrow morning before you check a single notification, before you turn on music or a podcast. Just sit, breathe, feel your own presence. Let the door silence be awkward. Let the emotions rise. Do not judge them. Do not fix them. Just watch them like clouds passing across a wide open sky. You are not empty. You are just unattended. You are not broken. You are just unheard. And the moment you start paying attention to yourself without needing anything external to fill the space, you will begin to remember who you really are underneath all the noise, the feels. Third principle is this: stop running from pain and start learning from it. Most people treat pain like an enemy, something to avoid at all costs, something to medicate, numb, or distract themselves from as quickly as possible. And I understand why pain hurts. That is literally what it does. But here is what most people miss. Pain is not trying to destroy you. Pain is trying to rebuild you. Think about the most significant moments of growth in your life. Were they comfortable? Were they easy? Or were they the hardest, most painful experiences you have ever been through? That heartbreak, it did not just hurt you. It taught you what you actually need in love. That failure, it did not just embarrass you. It showed you a strength you did not know you had. That loneliness, it did not just isolate you. It forced you to finally become your own companion. The Buddha did not say, life is suffering, to depress you. He said it to free you, because once you accept that pain is part of the journey, you stop being shocked by it. You stop asking, why me, and start asking, what is this teaching me? And that single shift in perspective changes everything. So instead of running from what hurts, sit with it, let it speak, let it crack. You open, because just like a seed has to break apart before it can grow into something beautiful, you have to let certain parts of yourself fall away so the stronger version can emerge. Pain is not your punishment, it is your preparation. The fourth principle is simplify your life to amplify your spirit. We live in a culture that worships more stuff, more commitments, more followers, more achievements, more everything, and yet the people who have the most are often the ones who feel the emptiest. Why? Because accumulation does not equal fulfillment, distraction does not equal purpose, and busy does not equal meaningful. Buddhism teaches that desire is the root of suffering, not just desire for material things, but the constant craving for more of everything. More validation, more entertainment, control, more proof that you are enough. And the irony is, the more you chase, the further you get from the peace you are actually looking for. So start subtracting. Look around your life. What is draining your energy without giving anything back? What commitments did you say yes to that your soul was screaming no about? What relationships exist only out of habit or guilt rather than genuine connection? What mental clutter are you carrying around? Thoughts, worries, comparisons that serve absolutely no purpose. Let it go. Clear the noise, make space, and watch what happens when your life gets quieter. Your spirit gets louder. You start to hear your own voice again. You start to feel what actually matters, and you realize that the peace you were chasing was never found by adding more. It was found by removing what was blocking it all along. The fifth principle is become the observer of your mind, not its prisoner. This one will change your life if you truly understand it, because right now, most people are completely controlled by their thoughts and emotions. Something happens and they react instantly, without thinking. Someone says something hurtful and anger takes over immediately. A fearful thought appears and anxiety floods the entire body before they even have a chance to question whether the thought is true. But Buddhism teaches something radical. You are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. You are the awareness behind them. You are the one watching the thoughts arise and pass away like waves on the ocean. The wave is not the ocean. It is just movement on the surface. And your thoughts are not you. They are just movement on the surface of your mind. So instead of being pulled into every emotional storm that passes through, try something different. Try watching. Try observing. When anger rises, do not become it. Notice it. Say to yourself, anger is here right now. When fear shows up, do not let it take the wheel. Say, fear is visiting right now. Breathe and let it pass. This tiny space between what happens to you and how you respond, that is where your freedom lives. That is where your power lives. Most people never find that space because they react so fast they do not even realize there was a choice. But there is always a choice, and the more you practice observing instead of reacting, the wider that space becomes, until one day you realize that nothing outside of you has the power to control how you feel, unless you allow it. The sixth principle is let go of the old version of yourself that is keeping you stuck right now. There is a version of you that you keep dragging into every new day, a version built from old wounds, old fears, old failures and old labels. Maybe it is the version that was told you are not smart enough, or the version that was rejected and decided that love is not safe, or the version that failed at something important and decided that trying is pointless. That version of you served a purpose once. It protected you, it helped you survive, but it is not who you are anymore. And if you keep identifying with it, you will keep living a life that is too small for the person you are becoming. Buddhism teaches that there is no permanent fixed self. You are not the same person you were 10 years ago, 5 years ago, or even last month. You are constantly changing, constantly evolving, and the only thing stopping you from stepping into the next version of yourself is your attachment to the old one. So give yourself permission to change. Give yourself permission to outgrow people, places, habits, and beliefs that no longer fit. You do not feel guilty about it. The caterpillar does not apologize for becoming a butterfly. It simply lets go of what it was and trusts what it is becoming. The seventh principle is learn to walk alone without fear. There will be seasons in your life when you look around and nobody is walking with you. Friends disappear, relationships end, mentors move on, and you find yourself on a path that feels lonely and unfamiliar. And in those moments, everything inside you will scream something is wrong. You are being left behind. You are not enough. But what if those seasons of solitude are not punishments? What if they are sacred? What if the universe is clearing the space around you so you can finally hear your own voice without interference? The Buddha himself left everything, his palace, his family, his comfort, and walked alone into the unknown. And in that solitude he found the deepest truth that exists. You already have everything you need within you. Walking alone does not mean you are unloved. It means you are learning to stand without leaning. It means you are building a foundation so strong that when the right people do come into your life, you will not need them to complete you. You will simply enjoy them because you are already whole. The eighth principle is stop multitasking and start actually living. I know this sounds strange in a world that rewards doing 10 things at once, but here is the truth. When you try to do everything at once, you end up experiencing nothing fully. You eat while scrolling. You listen while planning your response. You walk while worrying about tomorrow. And at the end of the day, you have been busy for 16 hours straight, but you cannot remember a single moment that actually felt alive. Buddhism calls this mindfulness, the practice of being completely present with whatever you are doing right now. When you eat, taste the food. When you walk, feel your feet on the ground. When someone talks to you, actually listen, not to respond, but to understand. When you breathe, feel the air moving through your body like it matters, because it does. This is not about slowing down your productivity. It is about waking up to your own life, because the moments you rush through, those are your life. And if you are not present for them, then what exactly are you living for? The ninth principle is accept what you cannot change and take action on what you can. This balance is everything, because most of our suffering comes from one of two mistakes. Either we passively accept things we should be changing, or we aggressively fight against things we have no power over. You cannot change what already happened. You cannot control other people's choices. You cannot force the timeline of your healing or your success, but you can change your response. You can change your habits. You can change the story you tell yourself every morning. You can change the energy you bring into every room. Acceptance is not weakness, it is wisdom. It is the ability to look at reality clearly without the fog of denial or the fire of resistance. And from that clear place of acceptance, you can finally take meaningful action, not from panic, not from desperation, but from peace. The 10th principle is give yourself the same compassion you give everyone else. This is the one that makes the strongest people break down, because so many of us are incredibly generous with kindness when it is directed at others, but absolutely ruthless when it comes to ourselves. We forgive our friends instantly, but punish ourselves for years. We encourage strangers to keep going, but tell ourselves we are not good enough. We speak gently to people we love, and then turn around and destroy ourselves with the cruelest inner dialogue imaginable. The Buddha taught that compassion must begin at home, and your home is your own heart. You cannot pour love into the world from a cup that you keep draining with self-hatred, so start speaking to yourself the way you would speak to someone you deeply love. When you fail, say it is okay. I am learning. When you feel weak, say this is temporary. I will rise again. When you look in the mirror, stop listing everything that is wrong and start acknowledging everything that is still trying. You are doing so much better than you give yourself credit for, and the fact that you are still here, still breathing, still searching for growth, that alone proves you are stronger than you realize. The 11th principle is break the cycle by breaking the thought. Every action you take started as a thought. Every emotion you feel was triggered by a thought. Every limitation you believe about yourself was planted as a thought, and then repeated so many times it became your truth. But thoughts are not facts. They are habits, and habits can be changed. The next time a thought appears that says you are not enough, pause. Do not react. Do not believe it. Do not feed it. Just notice it and ask yourself, is this actually true, or is this just an old program running on repeat? Most of the time, you will realize it is just noise left over from old experiences that no longer define you, and in that moment of awareness, you have the power to choose a different thought, one that serves you, one that supports your growth, one that aligns with who you are becoming, not who you used to be. This is not about pretending everything is fine. It is about refusing to let outdated mental patterns run your life. You are not a prisoner of your thoughts. You are the warden, and it is time to set yourself free. The 12th and final principle is this: return to your breath. It is always there, waiting for you when the world gets loud, when your mind starts racing, when your heart feels heavy, when nothing makes sense and everything feels like it is falling apart. There is one thing that is always with you, one thing that never leaves, one thing that never judges, and never fails: your breath. It sounds almost too simple, but that is exactly what makes it so powerful. The breath cannot exist in the past. It cannot exist in the future. It only exists right now, and when you bring your full attention to it, you instantly return to the present moment. The only moment where peace actually lives. Try it right now. Take a slow, deep breath in. Feel the air entering your lungs. Feel your chest expand. Hold it gently. Now, release slowly. Feel the tension leaving your body. Feel the noise fading. Feel yourself landing right here in this exact moment. That is where your power is. That is where your clarity is. That is where your peace is. Not in yesterday, not in tomorrow, but right here in this breath. When anger rises, breathe. When fear grips you, breathe. When sadness overwhelms you, breathe. When confusion clouds your mind, breathe. Not to escape what you feel, but to ground yourself so deeply in the present that nothing can knock you off center. Your breath is your anchor, and no matter how wild the storm gets, your anchor is always there, holding you steady, bringing you home. So here is what I want you to carry with you from this moment forward. You are not broken. You are becoming. You are not behind. You are awakening. You are not weak for feeling lost. You are brave for choosing to search. The fact that you are here right now, listening to these words, looking for something deeper, something more meaningful, that alone tells me everything I need to know about you. You are ready to let go of what no longer serves you, ready to sit with yourself honestly and without fear, ready to stop running from pain and start learning from it, ready to simplify, clear the noise and make space for what truly matters, ready to stop reacting and start responding with wisdom, ready to release the old version of yourself and step into who you are meant to be, ready to walk alone with courage, knowing that solitude is not loneliness. It is strength, ready to live mindfully present fully, alive in every moment, ready to accept what you cannot change and take powerful action on what you can, ready to treat yourself with the same kindness you so freely give to others, ready to break the mental patterns that have been holding you back, and ready to return again and again to the breath that grounds you, centers you, and brings you home. This is your path. This is your healing. This is your transformation. And it begins not tomorrow, not next week, not when things get easier. It begins right now, in this breath, in this choice, in this quiet, powerful decision to rebuild yourself from the inside out. Thank you for being here. Thank you for choosing growth over comfort and truth over distraction. If this message touched something inside you, if it reminded you of a strength you forgot you had, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to Buddhism Focus for more content like this. Share it with someone who needs to hear these words today, because you never know whose life might change because you cared enough to pass it along. May you find peace in the silence, strength in the solitude, and courage in every breath you take from this moment forward. Walk gently, live fully, and never forget, the most powerful version of you is not found in the noise. It is waiting quietly within.